Hello, folks. Gonna level with you. I shouldn't be making this video, or I shouldn't have to make this video. I had other things planned for 40k rants this week. Other big topics that I want to get onto, including Exile Edition, the rewrite of 40k that I'm doing. I'm putting a lot of work into that, and I wanted to do a video on that today, but I can't. Because Games Workshop have made a ridiculous decision to basically neuter and kill off another faction in Warhammer 40,000. And I don't think I'm being an exaggerating little Nancy by saying that. Because, let's rip the band-aid off, shall we? Games Workshop have killed off another character who is well loved by the 40k audience at large, and that is Kaldor Draigo. He is gone, folks. He is... I'm sure you all saw, most of you saw, the leaks the other day that were apparent from the Games Workshop Grey Knight Codex, and as you can see from that Codex, I'm not going to show too much of it here, Kaldor Draigo is absent. He's not there. He's just gone, obliterated, removed. Bye-bye. Just gone, right? The one thing we haven't seen from that leak is the lore excerpt, if they do it at all, of where Kaldor Draigo is gone. But I'm telling you now, there won't be one. Games Workshop don't respect you, your time, or the integrity of their own setting. They don't need to give you a reason for why Kaldor Draigo is not in the Codex anymore. He just isn't. Go suck on one, essentially. I don't know why they've removed him. I'm fairly certain it's because of the baggage. Any sort of character who has baggage with the grimdark setting of the far future as it was back in the day, as in 3rd, 4th, 5th edition, tends to be moved to the side or shoved away, unless you're an Ultramarine character. But even then, Ultramarines have lost a lot of characters too. Characters are being jettisoned into the warp left, right, and centre. Ironic for Kaldor Draigo, he probably would enjoy that, but, you know, it is what it is. I'm also thinking, unfortunately, and people are going to say this is, like, ridiculous. I think Brother Alpha Booster has something to do with this, right? I'm not saying, listen, he hasn't done anything wrong, right? He made a really good series, right? What I mean is, I know the reception that series got at Games Workshop, and it wasn't good. And Kaldor Draigo in that series, the Emperor as a Texas Beat Device, was one of the premier characters. He was one of the ones that people always loved seeing, because he was so mad and crazy, right? And funny. And I know for a fact they didn't like that series. They really didn't like that series. And I just think, you know, unlike Magnus, who is a Primarch, and the literal Emperor, and Rogel Dawn, they couldn't get rid of any of those people, but they got rid of Kaldor Draigo. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's been shuffled off into the ether somewhere, and never to be seen again. A lot of you Imperial Guard players will know what I mean by the feeling of this. They've done Kaldor Draigo dirty. They've shuffled him off, and haven't given him a proper send-off, because they have no respect for the lore. They have no respect for the setting. They have no respect for the game itself. They literally couldn't give, you know, any sort of attention to this huge character not being in the lore anymore, not being in the game anymore, and they won't address it. I'm telling you right now, they won't address it. We are years down the line from our good friend over here, right? Our good friend, Commissar Yarrick, being jettisoned out of the lore. Have we found out yet what happened to him? No. They've not mentioned it. They've not mentioned it, they've not talked about it, they've not mentioned his name. We've gone to Armageddon again, and still no mention of Commissar Yarrick and what's been going on. They announced his death years ago now, and they never touched it. Why? Because they don't owe you an answer. They don't owe you an explanation. They will do what they want with their IP, and they will tell you to go swivel. Commissar Yarrick is indicative of the old school grimdark 40k aesthetic, so he has to go. Very simple. He has to go. This guy is Imperial Guard, not Astra Militarum, so he has to go. Simple as. I have an opinion on this, and that is any sci-fi setting or property, if it has a Legends section, that shows you that it is completely lost its way. Any, like Star Wars, whatever it is, Battletech, whatever. If your setting has a legend section where you just jettison old lore to just rot instead of actually putting effort into making it better, maybe bringing it in line with the modern stuff, you don't deserve to be the guardian of that setting. You're lazy, you're bankrupt, you have no ideas of your own, and you throw these things into the legend setting so you can cherry pick the ideas and put them into new things that you think are cooler when they're not. Because there's nothing wrong with it in the first place. Games Workshop have done that with 2 very large characters now. And I knew for a fact, a long time ago, they were getting rid of Draigo. They were going to do something to the Grey Knights. They can't stand them. They cannot stand Grey Knights. Like, it's a known thing now. Their reveal of the Dread Knight was borderline passive-aggressive in, you know, the level of nonsense they were giving us. The Space Wolves got a ton of really cool new stuff. And what would you know? The other side of the Months of Shame, the Grey Knights, get a skirt for the baby character. For the baby carrier, sorry. That's what they got. Do you know what I'm saying? Look at the prices. Look at the prices. It's all there. Just look at these prices. By the way, this box set's gone up around £45. Do you know what you're paying for that £45? A skirt. See the little skirt on the Dread Knight? Yeah, that's what you're getting for the price rise. Because the rest of the models in this set are worthless. Right? The only model in this set that probably won't get a new one now is the Dread Knight, because they've added stuff to it. Everything else will probably be replaced in 11th edition. So it's worthless. So they've asked you for £45 more for a skirt that goes on the Dread Knight. By the way, so people have been throwing me this video of Pete the Wargamer doing a big conversion of the Dread Knight, saying, isn't this much better? Yeah, Pete, thanks, mate. I can't wait to pay 3 times the price of a normal Dread Knight just to get one that doesn't look like a piece of crap. Yeah, that's great. You know, convert all you like with models you get for free. You know what I mean? Or models you have to pay for anyway because it's part of your job. That's fine. You're in a very privileged position to have models like that. Like, I've said this before about my Primaris Space Marine Grey Knights. The only reason I was able to do them is because I took a sponsorship on from my wargaming store here in the UK, and they supplied the models instead of paying me. Right? I just said, no, I want to convert these models into this. Give me those, and you don't need to pay me. Give me those out your stock, and they did so, and it was great, and it was fine. Right? And I was very privileged to be able to do that. And I've said to people, when I've showed them my Grey Knights, to say, look, listen, I didn't pay for these, so don't think this is attainable. It's not. I couldn't afford to do this. And I'm earning okay money, but I couldn't afford to do this. Absolutely not. No way. You know? It would be a choice between me saving something for my kids' future, and my missus, and our house and things, and getting my new Primaris Grey Knights. And I'm not prepared to make that decision. No. Games Workshop can go suck a dick. I'm not paying the money to get what I want, to get more money over the odds to just get what I want in the first place, to get Primaris-sized Grey Knights. No. Right? So to put something like that online just rubs me the wrong way. I'm like, dude, this is not attainable. Stop acting like it is. Hey guys, if you want a good Dread Knight, just follow my instructions. Go buy these 3 really expensive model sets and combine them. No, dude. No. No. No, I won't do that. I'm not going to give this company yet more money. Absolutely not. Dude, look at the state of the box set. You get, and people have said, oh, you get 5 extra Grey Knights, so that's why the price has gone up 45 odd pounds. Mate, a squad of Grey Knights is £37.50. Okay, so you're telling me £37.50 plus a skirt that goes on the Dread Knight is worth a £45 price rise? If that's you, then you deserve Games Workshop. You deserve Games Workshop. And I hope this company fails. I hope it goes away. And I hope you're stuck with nothing. I hope you have to come join us in OPR and our homebrew rules and older editions. And we get to mark you for who you are. Right? We get to mark you out with saying, yeah, this guy's a shill. This guy's a whale. Don't trust this guy, right? Can't trust anything you say. If you get on board with this price rise, nah, mate. There's nothing down for you. There's nothing down for you. And I don't often say things like that. I always try and toe the middle line. If you get behind this price rise, there's nothing down for you, my friend. There's no brain in there, from what I can see. Let's get into the Codex, shall we? There's something else I wanted to talk about. As well as Games Workshop's blithe hatred of the Grey Knights, let me show you something about why I know they're hated. I know the studio just can't stand them. You know why? Not this thing. This thing. Right. And also, this thing. What's wrong with this page? This is a better example. What's wrong with this page? I'll give you 3 seconds. 1. Okay. Now, if you answered, why is there a demon face on the background where the artwork's supposed to be for the Grey Knight character, you'd be correct. They couldn't even be bothered photographing a Grey Knight Brotherhood chaplain or a Grey Knight Brotherhood tech marine to just put their picture up on the things, you know what the model looks like. They couldn't even be bothered doing that. Not only did they could have just put the Grey Knight symbol there, they put a demon head there. with a star of chaos behind it. Okay? This company doesn't give a shit about your factions, your models, or the standards of their own books. Dude, I've seen some of these books be thrown out to people, like the Blood Angels one, that had pages in them that were French, in an English book. French pages in an English book. Okay? This is ridiculous. They charge you so much money, and they give you slop. Nothing. Let's have a look at this. The Grey Knight Army rule, quote unquote. Basically, you get to teleport. Sometimes. With a certain amount of units. Essentially, you turn into what Eldar should play like. Do you do anything interesting from, coming down from strategic reserves? No. No, you go into strategic reserves and you get to deep strike again. Right, cool. With how many units? Everyone? No. 3. 3. Right, cool. Right. I don't want to play like Eldar. I collected Grey Knights because they are heroes who take down massive monstrous creatures and demons and characters. That's what they do in the lore. That's why I collect them. I don't collect them so they can jump around like space elves. They're not Harlequins. Okay? You don't know what Grey Knights are. This is how I know you fucking hate them. Because you don't know what they are, or how they play, or how they are in the lore. You have no clue whatsoever. You don't know your own setting. Moving swiftly onwards. Back to the issue at hand. Kaldor Draigo being nuked. Look what they've done to my boy. And the worst thing is, and I don't know whether this is good or bad, but the worst thing is, in my opinion, they won't even give you an answer. As I said before, they won't even give you a reason why he's not in the lore anymore. He will just be shuffled off into Legends, and he'll stay there. You can still use him. He's still in the lore, technically, but this is a cowardly move by a cowardly company. This is a company who, will make all of the wrong decisions, but bafflingly, they don't have the balls to stand behind real decisions. They have the balls to stand behind decisions like there are now female custodies in the setting, but hey, we've killed off Kaldor Draigo. Oh, have you? How did it happen? Oh, we're not telling you. He might still be alive. Right. Can I play him at tournaments? No. Can I play him in stores? No. He's in Legends. Right. So, is he dead or not? Well, we don't know, man. We don't know. Yeah, he's basically dead, but we don't know. Because we don't want to make a decision. Why? Because it might upset people. Dude, go fuck yourself. Why do you grow a backbone when it comes to things like trans issues and stuff, but all of a sudden, when it comes to actual lore of actual characters, you lose your spine? If you're going to kill off a character with this weight and gravitas in the setting, tell us how he dies. Give us closure, and then build somebody else up. Move the story along. Now, there are other characters that you should be going to well before Kaldor Draigo, don't get me wrong. Killing off Kaldor Draigo is a stupid move by a stupid company who doesn't know what the fuck to do with its own setting. Don't get me wrong. But, if you're going to kill him off, kill him off. Give us a last stand. Give us closure. Give us something for him to go out on. And then introduce somebody new. Like Hyperion, for example. He would be a great Supreme Grandmaster. He's had several really cool books that he's appeared in. He's been at the Months of Shame. He doesn't like the Space Wolves. He's got actual gravitas and weight and pull in the setting, and he's extremely powerful. Dude was one of the people who banished Angron. He's been around the block. And he's not ridiculously overpowered like Kaldor Draigo is. He would be perfect, but of course you won't do that, because you don't have any fucking integrity. You're so lazy, you couldn't even be bothered to kill off your character that you don't want in the setting before properly. You couldn't be arsed. You just couldn't be arsed. Just like our boy Yarrick. You just couldn't be arsed, could you? He was a guy from the old school, he was from the Blanchian school of Grimdark, and he needed to go. But instead of actually having the balls to kill him off, to give him a cool send-off, to actually have him go down swinging, you just shuffled him off into Legends, you shuffled him off into Death, and nobody got to saw. And you acted like you were trying to make this big point about, oh, anonymous, you're going to die anonymously in the Imperium. What a better way for this lone soldier to die than anonymously. Nobody even knows how he dies. Oh, isn't that so great? Isn't that so clever? No, you're a dickhead. You are a dickhead. Whoever came up to that decision, you're a dick. You know nothing about this setting, you know nothing about the fans, and you know nothing about Warhammer in general. You're an absolute cockwomble, and you should go and write for Magic the Gathering, or something like that. You're not welcome here. Go away. Go away. Because this, the only thing worse than killing him off and giving him a really shitty send-off is not giving him anything at all. That's the only thing worse. And that's what they did. Because they don't have the balls to challenge the fan base. They don't have the balls to say, hey guys, Kaldor Draigo's dead. What? How? Well, we're going to do a big book about it. Here's the book. We're releasing it in Black Library, and it's the last stand of Kaldor Draigo. We're going to salute this character before we move on to other things. You know what? I'm really sad about that, but whoa, I read that book, and Draigo, wow, he went down swinging, man. Hey, and Hyperion sounds really cool. I want to buy that model. Hyperion appears at the end of that novel and kind of takes up the mantle of as Supreme Grandmaster. I really want to see where his story goes next. I want to buy that model, dude. And wouldn't you know it, Primoris Grey Knights come out in 11th edition, and who's leading them? Hyperion, the new Supreme Grandmaster of the Grey Knights. He's there, and he's got his big dudes with him, right? And away we go to the races. But they can't be arsed. They can't be bothered. So they just shuffle him off into Legends. They don't give him a send-off. They don't give him an ending. And that's where we are. It's insulting how little they care. It's insulting how little effort there is put into these things. These aren't throwaway characters. These are legacy characters who've been with us for decades. A lot of people have a lot of love for Yarrick and Draigo, right? Whenever I talk about Yarrick's story, do you guys remember when I did that stream a while ago with Black Lodge Games, and we were talking about 40k? And these are two guys who find 40k interesting, but they're not well versed in the lore. And whenever I mentioned Yarrick's story, their eyes just lit up. They were like, "That's really cool. That's so funny. That's really cool. That's awesome. That's really good writing." Yeah, it is. Yeah. And when they asked me, "Oh, what's he doing now?" I had to say, no, they kind of killed him off. Why? Well, I don't know. How? I don't know. I just know he's dead. Right? Games Workshop, you are, and I'm not going backwards but forwards by saying this, you are the worst thing about this hobby. You're the worst thing about this hobby. Beyond all of the dickheads on Sigmarxism and all that sort of shit. No. They're not as bad as you. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Even bottom feeders like that. You're entitled to your own opinion. You do what you want, right? One sec, I'm going to take a quick sip of tea. Right, they're entitled to their own opinion. Yorkshire tea, by the way, lovely, or whatever. They're entitled to their own opinion, whatever, right? There will always be bottom feeders out there, that's fine. Dude, You know better, Games Workshop. You all know better than this. And you choose to act like a piece of shit. Like a massive piece of shit. This is a conscious decision you've made to take away legacy characters that people love and not give them any closure. Because you're so afraid that we'll stop buying their models. And you're too lazy to bring out new ones for new characters that you might get invested in. You are morally bankrupt, and you are, well, creatively bankrupt. You can't create anything. Anybody who's read the shit show that was the Arcs of Omen knows you can't create anything. I'm looking for the key. Alright, and what does the key do? What is the key? Alright, it's a metaphorical thing. Okay, fine. What does the key do? It goes in the lock. Okay, what's the lock? It will allow me, Vashtor, to become a god. How? Retards. You hired retards to write your lore. I will say it again. I hate the word, but it has to be used. You hired retards to write your lore. And you're not sorry. Worst things worst, people lap it up, dude. People lap it up. And yet there's dudes like me who remember the lore of 3rd edition, 4th edition. And the tears. Dude, I remember back in the day. I got home from school and I bought a White Dwarf. And this was a big event for me when I was a kid because we weren't a rich family, right? So I bought a White Dwarf. And it had a write-up of the Horus Heresy in it. This is before the Horus Heresy novels. And it was a write-up basically from start to finish. It was like 20 pages in this White Dwarf were given over to this thing. This big write-up of the Horus Heresy from start to finish. And it had artwork in there and things like that. And I put on a metal CD. I think it was Pantera. Or it might have been a less metal CD like Foo Fighters. I can't remember. Anyway, I put on a CD. And I sat in my old house when I was a kid. I had this bunk bed which had a table underneath it. It had like a desk underneath it, right? And a futon to sit on and play video games and stuff. And my bed was above it. Now, I didn't get rid of this bed for a long time. Because basically we couldn't afford it. So, a bit of funny 40k, not 40k, northern lore is when I started dating, I still had this bed. And when I got into my like late teens, I was dating like women in like the mid to late 20s. I'd bring them home to this bunk bed. And they'd be like, well, I guess I'm getting in that now. And they did. They were all good sports about it. Like, you know, it was just, you know, it was really, really, really funny. And I played it off as a joke, do you know what I mean? But anyway, moving back to the thing at hand. So I'm sitting at this desk and the CD's playing on the stereo, and I open this thing and I read this lore, right? All the way through. And I was not the kind of kid who would read. That just wasn't me. I wouldn't sit down and read for hours. I was there for about 2.5, 3 hours reading this thing. And I couldn't move. I was transfixed. I was there. And dude, I was getting emotional, wanting the Emperor to succeed, wanting him to pull through. I knew he wouldn't, right? I kind of knew the story already, because it was told over, you know, over cups of tea and things with my friends and stuff. But I was really hoping he'd pull through. And again, the tragedy and the irony of, you know, Lorgar writing the book that, you know, and this and that, and the Emperor not wanting to be a guard and being on there, it was a thing that got me to abandon Eldar. Because I had like a really small Eldar force, and I was getting battered all the time, and I bought my first Space Marine set shortly after that, because I just wanted to fight for this guy. I wanted to make sure that he had the, you know, the ending that he deserved, you know, and it pulled me in, and that's what lore does. Good lore does that. Good lore says, no, put down what you're doing and come and fight for the Emperor. Stop being such a little chump. You right? Put down what you're doing and fight for a better future for the Eldar. Put down what you're doing and make sure the orcs are having a good time. Put down what you're doing and exterminate the rest of these stupid races so that the Necrons can get back to doing business, right? That's what good law does. It does that. Put down what you're doing and help the Night Lords find their purpose and their future. Good books pull you in and say, you're next. You're up next. Do you know why? After the Cyberpunk Edgerunners TV show, the anime, the number of players for the Cyberpunk jumped up, right? Because Cyberpunk Edgerunners act as a gateway. It's like, okay, now you've seen Night City, you've seen the tragedy, now it's your turn. Now you're going to go into Night City and forge your own legend. Right? Same thing goes for The Witcher. People watch The Witcher, and it's like, okay, now it's your turn. You want to be Geralt? There you go. There's The Witcher. Fallout. Loads of people playing Fallout when the Fallout TV show came on, because it was a gateway. And even people who played Fallout before watched it again and went, do you know what? Yeah, I really want to play some Fallout. That'd be really cool. That's what good lore does. It's an on-board thing. It pulls you on board and says, now it's your turn. You've read about the Horus Heresy, right? You know about the tragedy. Now it's your turn. Is the Imperium going to fall, or is it going to stand strong? That's up to you. Games Workshop don't understand the power of their own lore. And that's the main Achilles heel. It's the main crux that will tank this entire thing. And eventually, it's coming. It's coming. They will sell this company. I'm telling you now, that within a year, maybe two, they will sell this company. I'm going to do a video on it on Thursday. They will sell this company, and it'll die. Right? The whole thing will die a death. Because new people will come in and will be even worse than the current Games Workshop. They won't get what they bought. And it'll die. Right? It will be moderately successful. Like companies this big don't just perish. Anyone who thinks Games Workshop's going to go away, sorry, you're going to be disappointed. Companies this big don't just perish. They don't just go away, right? It will become moderately successful. It will be staying at a 5 out of 10 in terms of profitability for the rest of time, essentially, right? It will never close down. It will just stay as what it is, right? But it could be a 10 out of 10 company. It could be an 8 out of 10 company. We all know that. We all know that. And it wouldn't take very much. It would just take people knowing about the hobby, knowing and having passion for the hobby, being in charge for a year or two. And we'd have it all turned around and doing just fine. Just fine. Right? Games Workshop fans have a reputation for being utterly toxic and nasty. It's untrue. They're abused. They've been thrown to the floor and kicked by this company. And they've been held hostage, because nowhere else does anything like 40k. You may say they do, they don't. Stop lying. 40k is the shit. But if you want to do 40k, you have to parlay with these people. But there's going to come a time when you don't have to. People like myself are making sure that there will come a time when you don't have to rely on Games Workshop. Exile Edition is one of those things. It's me putting my money where my mouth is. Macca at the Outer Circle really lit that fire under me, and it was a really good example of how to do it. When I was mentioning that, and we were doing that podcast on it and stuff, the amount of emails and messages on Discord I would get saying, do a 40k version, do a 40k version. So now I'm doing it. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I want to make sure you don't need Games Workshop to do this hobby. Anyway. Love you all a long time. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow for some more Hobby Nightmares, and I'll speak to you on Thursday for some Rantage. I'll see you then. Have a good one. Bye now.